Nothing says quarantine content like the day after a holiday weekend full of news and other content.
Please.
Maybe not my best intro.
I was going to say, well, no, the intro is fine. What was the news?
There was that thing that happened. Yep.
What was your Memorial Day, Brad? Anything notable there?
I stained my deck, which is a terrible process, and now I know why I do it only like every 3 years or whatever, including copious amounts of power washing, which is fun for exactly 5 minutes. You're like, ooh, look at all the dirt's gone. And then you do it for like 4 more hours.
This is very close to a Bill Burr joke you might remember about the hardest job in the world, you know? And he's like, oh, I thought being a redhead and doing roofing in the summer might have rated, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, here we are, back again. We had some fun stuff on the site, just a little tidbits.
Yeah, so as people I'm sure have noticed, we've had issues with the comments and the forum and the site itself. I mean, we unfortunately spent a good chunk of the weekend working on that. So we will, I don't think there's anything people generally have to worry about per se, but I mean, it will obviously, in the interest of transparency, we'll communicate what happened once we are sure we're ahead of things or whatever. So,
yep. Realistically, I mean, compared to, what we've already communicated, there's nothing too much of a change, but
right.
Just if people went to the site and saw it was under maintenance this weekend, there you go.
Yep. Yeah, that was a fun time. So
yeah,
we'll get to
that. Also fun times. Microsoft, with a straight face, says that they are going to continue to invest in Skype.
I know. You know what? You don't have to read between the lines too much on this one, though. I mean, they literally do. It was Jeff Taper, and good guy. He literally said that and said the right things here. I mean, of course. But this lines like this. It says, "Look, we feel that is when Teams lands with consumers, does more things. People are going to pick Teams. But people love Skype, and we're not going to get ahead of ourselves there." And like, okay, that's kind of back and forth a little bit, And then he says like. Where is this line? Oh man, why can't I find it? When in the near term, here it is. Sorry. So he describes how Facebook has a bunch of different apps that kind of do the same thing, and they interoperate in some ways, and they're not forcing people to migrate from one app to another. And that's how we look at our apps. You're like, okay, cool. But then he says, at least in the near term. It's like, okay. So I think we can state semi-definitively that Microsoft does have a long-term plan. This is everyone kind of knows this. I mean, it's obvious to move people off Skype and onto Teams. And we believe, I think, you and I, that the Skype brand has been somewhat tarnished due to Microsoft, kind of bungling a little bit.
Well, they tried to turn it into Snapchat for a while. Don't forget that awkward teen phase.
Yeah, and actually, the weird thing about that is that followed at least 2 years of silence from Skype because they were busy working on the back end, And then when they finally got that out of the way, they're like, cool, now we can do this UI change we've been planning for years. And then it came out and everyone was like, whoa. Like, what the hell is this? Squiggles, remember, and all the weird stuff that were in there. Like
the gradients all over the place, the background color changes and...
Yeah, so I think when you tread water like that for so long and then make bad decisions, you get into not as dramatic as this, but kind of a Windows 8 situation where you're like, oh, crap, we went down the wrong road. And now you got to kind of backpedal again. And, unfortunately, during all this, you lose time and momentum and so forth. And then, Teams came around, and Teams is genuinely very successful. And it's understandable why they might want to put their emphasis there. So
yeah, it's not going to be they're going to drop this consumer thing and then just take Skype out back and old yeller it. But it's going to be
but
why would they keep them both?
Yeah, well, they do have a lot of different apps that do the same thing. They just introduced a list app, for example. But and look, I don't want to get I don't. This isn't like a UWP is dead thing. I haven't heard from someone at Microsoft that this is what's happening. We're kind of reading tea leaves here, but it makes sense to have one thing. I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens.
It really does. I mean, Yeah,
I
that's
picture
right.
remember when Windows NT 5.0 became Windows 2000, and there was a kind of a little blurb in the startup graphic that said "powered by NT technology," which of
Hmm.
course is redundant, which drives techie people nuts. But you could kind of imagine a Teams powered by Skype
Yeah,
thing, similar or whatever. I don't know.
yeah. Well, you just know when you open Skype in the future, like we'll just say 8 months from now, it'll gonna say, "Hey, have you considered try switching to Teams?" Or
Hmm.
what they'll do is they'll just migrate all the stuff to it, and it'll just magically become Teams. Everybody using Skype will have no idea they actually made a change, other than
By the
the
way, I
map
think both
icon
those
probably
things happen.
changes.
I think what you just said is right, and both of those things happen. And they happen in that order. So,
Hmm.
once the tools are available to automatically switch everything over, they'll start prompting people, and then over time they'll just say, look, we're gonna you're gonna get an upgrade to the client. It's gonna become Teams, but it will look
Hmm.
like Skype, maybe, or maybe they'll work to make Skype look like they'll do whatever they have to do to make it as seamless as possible. And by the way, again, not to beat it to death, but that is a lot like the NT5 Windows 2000 thing,
Yeah.
because people coming from Windows 9X, which was the most popular system of that day, could upgrade to, I don't, God help you if you ever try that, but you could upgrade to Windows 2000.
Hmm.
And, it looked like the thing you were using. It looked like a slightly more modern version. And the fact that underneath the covers, it was completely different, it didn't really matter because it just worked the same.
Yep. And we also both did the exact same thing this weekend. You have no idea.
Like heavily?
Well, that you
Because,
you finally put a Nest Cam in your backyard, right?
yeah, yeah. Um, I have two Nest cams. One's supposed to go in the front. I haven't done that yet because the power port or whatever it is that's outside is not working, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a GFI. It won't flip, and I don't know what's going on with that. So we probably run an extension cord into the garage for a little while. We're gonna test that, but yeah, I put one in the backyard, and it's like it works great. The quality is great.
Mm-hmm.
I have recorded approximately 17 videos of cars driving by. It's kind of right in the corner of the
Mm-hmm.
frame, and so there's a little triangle of space. And I've noticed only white cars and silver cars are recorded, or
So
are
you
no.
can adjust that.
Okay, that's talk to me, please. The other thing I'd like
So,
to adjust is the field of view. Is that
well,
possible?
maybe not the field of view, but you can do the alerts. Is probably what's driving you nuts. Are you getting? Because what you
Yeah.
can do is you can go in there and set activity zones,
Okay.
and
Yes. Okay. Yes, and I could say just show me the 7/8 of the screen that doesn't include the little corner of the road. Is that what you're
correct.
saying?
Now, be generous when you're putting that buffer in the zone, like where the cars drive by, because it's really like if it's even close to that zone, it'll trip it.
Okay.
So just
Yeah, we positioned it specifically, so it really captures basically the entire width of the yard
mhm.
as it is. I mean, not really. We could move it, more over and kind of fix it too. But I did see the activity zone thing, and I was going to play with that. So, what I
Yeah,
really like to do is like almost zoom it in a little bit. And I don't believe
I don't
that's
know
okay.
if
That
you
possible.
can do that, but I didn't. I already had a Nest Cam on my backyard, but I moved it this weekend. So
Okay, where was it before?
it's this is gonna sound great. It was above my deck, and now it is still above my deck. But what I did was we have out on our deck we have an outlet box where that's where it's plugged in, and the wires just run up the wall and then just stuck into the soffit. And so what I did was we had
Plug it in.
a
Stay close.
security what?
You can just plug it in right there. So we had to run
Yeah.
the wire down the gutter and.
But what I did, because I was annoyed by the wire, is we had it's like a backyard floodlight is what it is. But it was just like it was old and whatever. I didn't really like it. So what I did was I took that thing out, replaced that fixture with an outlet, and then just mounted the
Nice.
whole thing in the soffit. So now that wire isn't running up and down my wall. Now it's just bunched up, hidden behind the little box, which is a little better. But yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's really interesting. But ours is in the, I guess, soffit. That's the underneath, but kind of underneath part. What is that called? It's like a, I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter, but it's under like an eave or whatever.
Mm-hmm. The soffit.
That is the soffit. Okay, yeah,
Yep.
and like where you might put lights,
Yeah.
pointing down. Like,
Yep. Exactly where it was.
yeah. So, yeah, we basically put it there as well. But the power is down, outside, so we have to kind of run the wire down and across, and I didn't put it in. I didn't clip anything because we hid most of the. It actually looks pretty decent, but I was also not 100% sure if that was going to be the final place for it. But the other thing is, like, we wake up this morning. My wife walks the dog in the morning. And my son now is home, and so he goes too. So I went with him. I don't usually do that, but there's all these deer tracks across our front driveway. And it's like, I don't have a camera there, but I got some great video of a white car driving by at 5:00 in the morning. I do like the night mode thing. It looks cool.
Yeah. So this is really dumb. It's really dumb. But one of the things that's kind of neat is after you get it like a couple of days through, you can just kind of like swipe your finger and you can just see like the sunrise, sunset.
Yeah. No, and I actually have a video where the camera switches from day mode to night mode already, just in the one day. So I actually witnessed the switch, and it's neat. But again, not a single. I mean, we live in a wildlife sanctuary, from what I can tell, but I didn't record any animals last night. I just got cars. It's a little. It's just. I kind of wish I could. I want it to be a little tighter, I guess, to the backyard than it is. It's almost like an ultra wide shot.
Yeah. Speaking of wildlife, we'll end on this happy note. There was not directly in my backyard, but my neighbor's backyard, like right next door, a deer was born, like
oh, wow.
literally born, and then I've got a video. I tweeted it out of like it's like first standing up. Like it's pretty cool. Never really.
That's really cool. My brother-in-law has a photo on his Instagram feed of a similar thing where they were driving down the street and the deer couldn't walk yet. It was really wobbly and it just fell down in the street. And so they stopped their car and another guy stopped the car and the other guy picked it up and brought it over. Its mother was on the other side of the road. And he took a picture. It's incredible looking. Like it's probably what you saw. Like it's like literally, obviously had just been born. Like it had no idea what it was doing,
Yeah, this thing could barely walk. I'm just like sitting there, like my kids watching. I'm like, please don't be like a fox around. Please don't be a fox. Like,
Yep.
So, anyways, I made minor audio adjustments, and then Windows, for whatever reason, flipped my monitors, so I can't actually see what I'm recording. If anybody notices that I'm looking to my left a lot more, it's because I can barely see whatever. Thank you, Windows, for switching my monitors. Booting up today, that was great. But anyways,
It keeps on giving.
Yeah, hopefully the audio is more balanced. If not, we'll adjust it tomorrow or not and just deal with it.